Here you go. TY.
You're welcome. Okay, let me. I got it.
This is how we're doing it. Hello. Hello, friends. Okay, yeah, this is... Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me fine?
Yeah.
Okay. We got 3 minutes left.
Yes, because if I do it from here, then you can see the screen and you.
Okay, alright. Also, let me know if anyone on Twitch happens to ask any questions.
Yes.
Not you turning on your phone, too. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, there you are.
Not that there I am. Oh, well.
I muted them.
I'm balling.
We're balling. I'll let you know when people join. That's not me.
That's not sick.
Because
but yeah,
I'm gonna open it up on, yeah, there we go, so I can see the chat on my phone.
Okay, perfect. Okay. TLDR, I finished this presentation this morning. Hello.
Hello.
It's a smaller pond, guys. What can we do? It's fine.
Please enjoy the setup.
Not to enjoy this setup. I don't know if we should wait
5 minutes?
I'm probably gonna start at like 3:05, let people trickle in, and then I'm just gonna get the floor running, and then just kind of like, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. There we go.
Okay, there's no one after me, I believe. Yeah.
For this room?
Not for this room, for 4 o'clock, but I'm gonna leave at 3:50 because that's degree time.
I think that's fair.
Mm-hmm. So.
Oh my gosh, hello.
Huh?
It's Zen.
It's Zen?
Yeah.
Hey, Zen. Hi. We're just waiting for people to trickle in. I'm probably gonna start at like 3:03. Kind of like talk about like the purpose of the panel and such, and then don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Just don't worry about it.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm gonna just introduce myself, kind of go through like objectives and whatnot, and like kind of just, it's gonna be a chill panel, you know. If anyone wants to ask any questions, if you're on Twitch and you're watching this live, you can feel free to ask questions in the chat as well. But yeah, it was kind of my fault because I didn't like, what's the word, like advertise it as much. Like I literally posted it yesterday. So yeah.
Yes.
Drink some water.
Please hydrate.
Hydrate before I dehydrate.
Correct.
Y'all see my tippy toe? Courtesy of KV Props.
We love tippy toe.
Okay. So, alright, so just to kind of get started, so this is a panel that, like, for those that follow me and even those that might just be trickling in, it's going to be talking about transferable skills that I can get from content creation, specifically from, like, cosplaying, the other thing I do, which is streaming, and also with artists. So like that's like one of the content creation mediums that I don't do is artistry, because like I'm trash at drawing. So, but I do have a lot of good friends that do art, so I got some input from them. And yeah, so kind of the agenda is like I'll be going through my journey, and then I'll be going through. Also, please feel free to stop me if anyone asks any questions, and then I can address it.
Gotcha.
And then yeah, thank you. And then like the second part is kind of going through the survey results that I posted on Instagram. So we got roughly 48, like I want to say, participants in that. So I was able to get some data from that. And then the third part is actually going through the transferable skills. So like me bringing up like real life examples of like how I use those skills from content creation and transferring them into like, so I'm a pharmacist by practice, and so it does require me to think a little bit outside the box, and well, I feel like just to keep things exciting. And then the last part, it will just be like main takeaways and like, you know, showing my services and whatnot, because I do want to help people, because as you all know, it's tough right now in the job market. So yeah, anywho, it is 3:03, so I'm just gonna get started. So for those that don't know, my name is Pri, also known as Wari, also known as Alyssa. I go by many hats, and so I've been doing content creation specifically in cosplay and streaming for the past 5 years. And so specifically with content creation, I really started it as a hobby, and then went deep into like, I want to say, kind of doing it like transitioning semi into doing like this is why I also started my own media kit as well, for those that have seen on my beacons. So yeah, there's that. And I guess some fun facts about myself. So some video games that I really love is Marvel Rivals. I also play Tekken, Tales of, just basically any JRPG you can think of. Really like K-pop. I'm a big I'm a big TXT fan. And I love bubble tea. And am I missing anything, Pooch?
No, I think you got it.
I got everything. Okay, great. Okay, so we're just gonna move along. So like I said before, this is the table of contents, and so we're gonna start with my story. So how did Wari get from point A to point B? And then the second one, we're gonna be talking about the survey results. So specifically, what are some insights from other content creators? So on my page, actually, I actually put out this survey just to kind of get insights about like what people do for a living, what kind of skills they picked up from doing content creation, and kind of analyzing that. And because like I also realized Pooch has my phone, so I can't like read out all the stories that I got from people, but I can try and like echo out like what people told me, because I've actually heard some really interesting viewpoints on using transferable skills from content creation going to the workplace, and it depends, like it's a whole bag of worms that like I will get into. And then so the third one is what I call cheat codes. So what are those transferable skills? It's not an exhaustive list, if I'm going to be honest with you, and it's going to, you know, be specific depending on like, I want to say your profession. So like I'm a pharmacist by training, so a lot of things that I want to do is like front facing, and obviously like I want to help people as much as I can, but a lot of the insight that I gained from being a cosplayer and a streamer and someone that is consistently around people that are from different, you know, varieties of backgrounds and such, I was really able to get insight on like how different people live, different personalities and whatnot. And I feel like especially with my current gigs, so like I had 3 gigs that I will talk in depth about. So that's PCOS Challenge, so I work with a nonprofit, the National PCOS Association, or Polycystic Ovary Syndrome. I also currently am the program manager of the Maryland Pharmacist Association, specifically with a grant that's supposed to help reduce opioid deaths. And the third one is, I would like to say, on, what do you call it? FarmCon for CE. So specifically with my skills that I learned from content creation, I've learned help transfer what I can get today. And I'm still, you know, getting inquiries from people, if that makes sense. And then the last part, we're gonna be talking about the conclusion, so like key takeaways, what should people pick up from this conversation, and a Q&A, and it's most likely going to be on Twitch. Pooja can also ask as well. Anyone else that wants to come in. It's a small con, but it's fine. This is why we're also on Twitch, so like just to kind of get engagement. All right, so disclaimer. These are my personal opinions and experiences. What worked for me may not work for everyone else. You're gonna learn really quickly, and I am going to try to incorporate like kind of like how I was raised earlier in life and how I started off relatively introverted and quiet, and how it kind of evolved into something like Pooja can like literally attest that I used to hide under my bed back in like undergrad. So it's like progress can happen, and I'm trying to show that. But once again, everyone's journey is different, and so take the tips that resonate with you. All right, so this is my content creation journey. I used to have it as like cosplay journey, but then I thought more about it and how like it kind of got out of cosplay. That's also why I put my PNG tuber, which was created by Shiva Lee. Love them to bits. And so specifically with this, so I started off, I don't want to say in high school, but it's, like, high school is kind of when I would argue even back during like middle school is when I really got into my nerd culture roots. So like getting into video games, anime, raise your hand if like you've ever been made fun of for liking that shit, because I was raised, I'm sure. And so, but I didn't let that stop me from like, you know, exploring that stuff. That's honestly like how I can go into this big tangent on how my dad got me into tech, and that's what got me into like video games and such. But yeah, I don't know, maybe you guys can ask that in like the chat on Twitch and such. So yeah, and then next goes into college. So going into college, initially I was just trying to like, you know, I was on survival mode, but what I didn't know is that I was going into like an environment where I can be with, I don't want to say like-minded people, but like people that aren't afraid to go outside the box. I was secretary of our school's Korean dance club, and then it come to find out that everyone's a weeb, and like it was honestly like a really good time. It was like the first instance where I found that group of people to go to a convention with, because like for the longest time, like I went with family, I went by myself, but it's just like, it just feels different when you go with friends. And then we get to the present, and I kind of like, it's like a significant jump, I would say, from like undergrad until this picture in the present is from now, for those that don't know. And so like, so that's actually from my third year in undergrad during college, and this is like roughly a 7-year gap between college and present, and you can really see the progression. Like I kind of feel like I should have put like an extra picture in the middle, kind of to like show that progression, but you know, we're gonna do what we gotta do. So but yeah, so for the longest time, and I'm gonna go more into this when I go through my career journey, so this one specifically has to do with like, so growing up in a Filipino household and growing up in an Asian household specifically, academics was like the key thing. It's like I grew up my mom saying, okay, I hope you can grow out of these conventions, blah blah blah. There was a point even when she said like, you don't need a wig, or like you just need to wear the costume, and it's like, but I want to wear the costume. Anyway, so yeah, so back in high school, my family basically told me like, oh, Filipinos, they want to be nurses, and I'm just kind of like, I don't want to do that. I also don't want to be a doctor. Let's do pharmacy. So forward to college. College was interesting. I would like to call it my love life arc because I was part of a dance team, and I was also in the same major as like some of my bestest friends now, like Pooja. Literally, Pooja has become like attached to me within those 3 years, like, and all that stuff. So she's recording it right now on Twitter.
I'm the one holding the camera.
And then, so I graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in Biological Sciences, and as we've learned, and as I'm actually going to go through kind of like the survey results and also the transferable skills, is that when you're in college, and something that I'm starting to notice, my brother's in college himself, and he finds that it's hard to participate, I feel, in like trying to do networking events, trying to do career events and such. And so I kind of want to emphasize my like
They commented on my camera work. They're like, "You're doing great."
commenting on your camera work.
Anyway,
who
continue.
Else is in here?
Lycoon Arts.
Huh?
Lycoon Arts.
Light.
One of your mods. I'm probably.
Oh, Lycoon.
I'm just like, I'm sorry. I'm probably saying your name wrong.
No, I was like, Light? Lycoon, hi. Yeah, so, we're live here in MiryokuCon. Lovely. Okay, so, going back to my whole spiel, yeah, so college kind of helped me develop that confidence. And at the time, I was really in a follower role. And also, like him, since you just joined chat, you can just feel free to ask any questions, because right now it's kind of dead here. Yeah, it's just, you know, it's a good practice for me, so I'm not even mad at it.
Yes, please send questions in the chat.
Huh?
Please send questions in the chat.
Let's start a conversation, guys, please. Okay. And then for, you know, you guys know one thing led to another. I became a pharmacist last year in May.
Ooh.
And ever since then, I guess I can go into my spiel because like we're about 15 minutes in, and I don't really have to worry about pacing because no one else is here. And also don't blame the con, guys. It's a smaller con, so like there's gonna be some differences and such. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
What's this panel for?
So this panel is how transferable skills you can get from content creation, so like cosplay and Twitch streaming, can be translated into like getting to the career pathway you want to go into. So I'm just kind of going through like my career journey. I can actually start from this slide right here, so I can kind of give you guys the breakdown of like the timeline of things.
Okay. I love the cosplay, by the way. That's
Thank you so much.
And the magic cosplay too. It's
Yeah,
really nice.
we're gonna have a Marvel Rivals panel at 7:30.
7:30.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
so you guys can stop by for that one as well. So I was just kind of going. I'll go through this really quickly. So I started. Raise your hand if you've been made fun of for liking video games or liking anime in high school.
Raise it up high.
Yeah, raise it up high. Yeah, exactly.
I'm not ashamed here.
Yeah. I got into, well, technically I got into like nerd culture back in like, I want to say, as young as 4 years old. My dad gave me a game controller for Tekken, and I haven't been the same ever since. And then going into college was when I found my people. So, I'm taking a sweet guess that everyone here is local to Maryland.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anyone here go to UMBC?
Ooh, no.
Okay.
No.
UMD?
No.
Nah. Okay. All right. So I went to UMBC for my undergrad. So I graduated with a bachelor's in biological sciences, and around that time was when I started doing content creation. Long story short, it was kind of a way for me to divert attention away from like drama happening in like my dance team. And it's kind of wild because I wouldn't have gotten to where I am now if it weren't to like distract me from it. And now, I have about 8,000 followers across all platforms, and I've also gotten career opportunities that are not really like related, but the skills that I gained from doing content creation translated really well into getting like opportunities like the PCOS Association, the one of the Maryland health departments, and also being like faculty as well. So and it kind of already explained my career journey. So like I am a pharmacist by training. I've been in school for 10 years. God bless that I am finally out of school. I would not wish that on anyone. And so when I was, especially going to pharmacy school, there was this preconceived notion that I could not express, like I was doing content creation. Either not because it was taboo, because it was seen as unprofessional. And so I kind of got into school thinking that, okay, let me just direct like my content creation stuff into something different, and then put my pharmacy stuff all on one platter. So I'm gonna actually go through some survey data. So this is from a pool of 48 content creators, some that are mutuals of differing like, so I asked cosplayers, I asked artists, and I also asked streamers as well, and kind of to pick up like what they gained from their journey. So about, I want to say like 45.8% had a combination of the above. So like they were either cosplay, streamer, or like I know some people that like they do all three. So like a good friend of mine named Gomi, she is a streamer, she also cosplays, and she also is an artist and has her own business and all that stuff. So like entrepreneurship is like one of the small things you can do with content creation, and how you can translate that into making your own business. And then about, I want to say 47.9% have been doing content creation for 10 plus years. For me personally, I've been doing cosplay for like 5 years, and then doing streaming for about 3 years. And so it was kind of interesting to see like what kind of like skills that these people have picked up, and how it is reflected in what they do. And then I also asked amongst the 48 people if they do content creation as a hobby, a side gig, or a career. And so a combination of them, about 31% have do at least two of the above. For me personally, I mainly do this as a combination hobby and side gig. I was kind of like deluding myself into saying, oh, it isn't really anything that deep. And then before you know it, like I actually got like for example, so something that I'm going to show later on is that I was able to actually do a charity stream towards like, so a lot of my audience is like neurodivergent, and so I was actually able to connect with a social connections coach on LinkedIn, and so like we were able to get together and do a charity stream, kind of talk about all things video games, but also important things as well, like how to interact with one another. And so that's when I realized that I can potentially maybe not make it all the way like my career, but like have it as sort of like on the side with my pharmacy stuff. And so I also asked everyone like what their different career backgrounds are. So specifically, the funny thing is, the one friend that I mentioned that was a cosplayer, an artist, and also like a streamer as well, she's located in the UK, and she does, her job is in law. A lot of people that I gained from this survey, so once again, this is out of 48 people, so it's not all encompassing for everyone, but a lot of them are in marketing, which is like one of the key aspects, I want to say, in content creation. Some of them also are in management and admin. I'm guessing they also were like saying like what their current careers are at the moment, which is, you know, the current career climate as we would like to say. And then there's also medical, so that's like within my realm. So as a pharmacist, there were some things that I didn't realize that content creation translated to pretty well. So like being able to kind of have a conversation with a patient and not just like read off a script, but actually able to have genuine conversations with them, and also try to on the other side talk to researchers and like I want to say like other healthcare professionals that might be a little bit more like traditional on like other insights and whatnot. And obviously there's also art, so a lot of my friends are also like mutuals or like graphic designers on the side as well. I'll mention a really funny connection that I had actually later on in this the presentation, but it's kind of funny because I feel like when you think of art, you think of like you know, going to art school and then et cetera, and then they kind of go into something that's a little bit more within their genre. But what I found out, and I found this person on LinkedIn of all places, so it was kind of fascinating, if you will. And then the last is STEM. I saw a lot of engineers in the like I got like electrical engineer, I got like mechie and stuff, and so really people come from all different backgrounds when it comes to content creation, and they all found a way to incorporate that in their career pathway. So these were the top transferable skills gained, and just for the interest of time, I am going to go more into depth with it and kind of like going through my own journey with content creation and how it translated well into like gaining the careers that I want. So about 90% have used their skills in their career. Otherwise I would not be holding this panel. So, and then I asked them, do they think these skills that they had for content creation translates to traditional jobs, content creation, or both? And obviously a good like over 90% of them said both. And this is a really touchy subject. So I did ask, do you feel comfortable including cosplay, art, and or streaming on a resume, LinkedIn, or portfolio? If you were to ask me a year ago, I would say hell no. Because when I was in pharmacy school, they said, oh, just keep all your rotations and like all your job stuff at like, so I used to work at Johns Hopkins 10 minutes away from here. And so they like, just focus on all the clinical stuff. And then it wasn't until I saw a career coach actually a few months ago, and that's how I got these gigs. They said, that's bullshit. You actually have a lot of skills on your plate and you need to leverage that. And so that's why I'm here now, kind of to just like spread the wealth of knowledge and stuff like. And so it was really interesting because I feel like back then I definitely was like a 2. A lot of people are like within between 1 and 3 being like very or like medium uncomfortable, and then there's very comfortable, and I feel I have an inkling it has to do with like profession. So like if they do art, maybe an admin, they will be more comfortable admitting that they like video games, anime, they do cosplay and streaming on the side. But if it was, you know, in my profession with pharmacy and like STEM, like doing engineering, legal stuff, they feel a little bit more hesitant to share that because there is a culture of being judgmental, unfortunately, and I feel like that sort of stigma needs to be broken if you ask me. So now we're gonna go into the cheat codes and a deep dive in transferable skills. So a lot of it is just like photos and kind of explaining like through my process. And so one of the first skills I want to talk about, why is it loading? Okay, there we go. Okay, so the first one, and honestly, like if I had to explain this panel in one word, it's networking and collaboration. So from specifically with cosplay. And I think it has to be a product of being a content creator during COVID, because everyone was networking and like they couldn't leave their house. So like it's like, what else am I supposed to do to like use up my time aside from like, you know, either rotting on like my backlog for video games or just trying to be like anti-social. So like the opposite actually happened with me, and now I have like a very growing network of people in the cosplay, streaming, and even some people in the voice actor community. Something I've noticed, so this is before Elon took Twitter, right? So I had about a following of 4K. I had Yaya Han and Stella Chu both follow me. Yeah, and so, and it was specifically based off of like a post that I made on like inclusion of people of color, and they really resonated with that. And so it's things like that where like just being myself had other people talking to me and start conversations with me. I've also had like big companies like Nickelodeon and Square Enix notice me as well for my cosplays, and and honestly, like, I feel like there's this preconceived notion that content creation is like calculated and scheduled for me personally, and like that's why for everyone that just joined inside the panel, I'm telling you right now, everything is from my account. I don't speak for everyone, so a lot of what I say is based on my own experiences, so just take what resonates. Everyone else will have like a different opinion and whatnot. But yeah, and then on the upper left, so this is actually my my virtual cosplay podcast with Son of Light Cosplay, who's actually located down south, and then my good friend Prince Noir, who I've been cosplay mutuals for about 4 years, and they're located in Las Vegas, and we just talk about important topics in cosplay and whatnot. And you might think like, oh, she's just gaining friends from it. No, so I've been in like a career crunch, like trying to kind of figure out like my way in the career role, and I was really in a really dark and like, you know, sad place, and I kind of like let myself be a little vulnerable, and I said, hey guys, if you guys have anything out there. One of my mutuals, Mel, actually, she reached out to me and said, hey, I think with your expertise and such, I think this would be a good position for you. And it's kind of crazy because we met over like Tales of Zestiria, like a video game of all things, and like Final Fantasy 14, and they're helping me get a job. Like, I think that's absolutely crazy if you ask me, but those are the sort of things. I mean, obviously there's a lot of serotonin, like meeting people in the nerd culture community, and being able to find comfort in that. And then specifically, so I got into, I want to say, anime like around this time. So it was like around, I want to say middle school, elementary school, I don't know. So they were the first exposures that I had to cosplay. And at the time, they were really big. They're from Fine Dreamers Productions, if you guys are familiar with that. And so I was really inspired by them. And then when I started my cosplay journey back in 2020, one of them actually reached out to me because I found out that they had a shared love for Tales. And then this was during Katsu. And Jenna right here, the one who's in the back, used to be known as Vanderwolf. She reached out to me and she's like, hey, Free, do you want to meet up? And I'm like, I was like blown away because like I just felt like I found them back when I was growing. I kind of grew up with them. And then to kind of have that full circle moment and realize, and they said, oh, if you need any connections in the industry, just let us know. And it was like a full circle moment, I really feel like. So I just thought that was interesting to mention. So, all right, now the second skill I want to mention is project management. And you guys might look at this and be like, oh, it's just a bunch of cosplayers in a picture together. But the reality of it is that I took a lead for all these projects, so I kind of go through all the pictures. So this year, actually, for MiryokuCon, I ran the Final Fantasy 14 meetup, and I've been going since 2022, and it's always been like packed with like 50, 75 people. Like, I've always been an attendee. So I found out that my one friend couldn't make it, who usually organizes the meetups. And I'm like, me being a people pleaser that I am, I took the opportunity. And while I've heard feedback from people saying that it was a success, but to me it was just a moment to kind of learn how these sort of projects work. And so it was honestly like something that like I can kind of add to my ledger. The top part with the Kingdom Hearts photo shoot, so that was back when Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, I want to say 2020. And so this required me to reach out to different cosplayers to fill in roles, coordinate with them. That's like one of the main things with project management, and making sure that everyone's present, everyone knows what's going on, meeting up at the same place and things like that. And surprisingly, like you guys might think, oh, you're just bringing your friends together. No, it's like bringing up people, like asking friends of friends to bring together people and such, and having to communicate with people that you might not be used to like working with. And then the last one, which is it's really small text, but it says cosplay the potato, but I used to do a bunch of pass the brush challenges with a bunch of cosplayers, and that's kind of like how I networked with a bunch of cosplayers in the community, and just bringing up important like issues such as body image. All right, so the next is public speaking. That's why I'm here. I would say that I think that the best practice to have with public speaking is to actually speak at an event where you're comfortable with your audience, and that you kind of know like the culture that you're going into. And that's why like I'm presenting this to you guys right now. Like we might not all be in the same fandom, but we all love either video games, anime, comics, what have you. And so like I am trying my best to like do more of these panels, not only for like free entry into comp, but like also to kind of like build up like my portfolio and whatnot. Another thing that kind of helped me with public speaking more consistently is like doing streaming. So right here on the top right, I'm showing like my signed copy of Tekken 8 that I got at MiryokuCon. The one the far right was a co-panel that I did with my friends Adrian and what's her face, Destiny, and it was for health equity and not health equity but diversity and equity in cosplays and cosplayers, and which kind of translated well with my health background and whatnot. And I've also like taken guest appearances as a podcast guest, and kind of like getting used to having that back and forth conversation with someone, and I've also been good friends with them. So I translated that and put that into like, you know, my professional background with the Happy Farm D. So this is a coaching service. I actually did it, and my coach was like blown away kind of like with the skills I gained from like content creation and putting them into getting my gigs, and brought me back, and a lot of people resonated with that. And then I also went back and gave a seminar to like prospective future pharmacists, and all of that. Like honestly, I grew up, and you guys might see now I'm like still like socially anxious, but I'm still here talking because, you know, let's be real here. It's like some of these things have to be said, even if it might not be delivered in a way that is seen to you ideally, but as long as you get the information, I think that's the only thing that matters. And so honestly, I feel like everyone approaches public speaking a little differently. If you're more on the introverted side, definitely start with streaming. At least you start with like a little bit more of an intimate audience, maybe with your friends and family and stuff. And then you can branch out to like conventions, small conventions for panels and whatnot. All right, the next one is marketing and strategy. So like this one I would say depends on your profession. So like when I was in pharmacy school, they didn't really talk about that aspect, mainly because like, oh, here are some drugs, here are the disease states, go learn it and LOL, GL. But what I found out is that there is a side with big pharma and stuff, and not only with that, but like trying to convince other people to take actions for their health and whatnot. And I didn't realize how well it translated until I I kind of picked up that like I've been getting sponsorships with like different companies. So like Peach Shade, for example, I've been buying from their shop for like 3 years until they opened up an ambassador program, and now they send me like jewelry to review and like share with my audience. And then a good friend of mine, also from Kuteki, is also Baltimore based. I also collaborate with them and try to like bringing people to try out their products and stuff. And so these were just like baseline marketing details. Okay, and then kind of going into this, so and this is what I mean by like trying to motivate other people to do a certain action. So like I ran this charity stream with Coach Lee Hopkins, and he's a social connections coach specifically toward neurodivergent individuals. And he actually reached out to me first, and we kind of had like shared interests in terms of like wanting to improve connections between autistic and ADHD diagnosed individuals. And I was kind of talking about how like my audience is within the spectrum, or like a good 50% of them were within the spectrum, and expressed that in my stream. So we had this really cool charity stream where we talked about strategies on how to navigate a person's day-to-day, whether it's like professional, like in the workplace, or like with other people. And like it was a big success. It was kind of funny because it was the first time I had pharmacy colleagues join that like resonated as like being neurodivergent, and also viewers that were also neurodivergent. So it was kind of, even though everyone was from a different background, we also gained a lot of money from this as well. And kind of going back to the whole networking thing, so Coach Lee was actually the first person to leave a testimonial on my page after, and this happened like a week ago. I didn't expect that, but it kind of gave me the confidence needed to kind of push forward, and knowing that like I have the abilities to like, you know, do marketing and whatnot. Okay, so next is outreach analysis and audience-centered messaging. So this kind of goes, I would like to say, in the same realm as public speaking, but there's public speaking, and then there's public speaking with like purpose and being able to be meticulous with your words. And honestly, like, if I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I feel like I'm a better writer in terms of like trying to like share, you know, these sort of like discoveries and whatnot. And so, so for example, for this panel specifically, I had to do some research, and I think the best way to learn is to learn from other people. So I did a survey, which is the information that I showed before. And because I feel like me just sharing my experience doesn't really do much for you guys. So it's better if I just like try to get like, and that's also another reason why I feel like, so like diversity and equity panel from MiryokuCon a couple of years ago. That was done by me, totally not Adrian. She's like a cosplay friend of mine who's also Filipino, and then Destiny, who's also a fellow Black cosplayer. And so we talked about sexism in cosplay, fat phobia in cosplay, and like all these other important like topics. But then we also included a disclaimer, kind of being like, you know, aware that we're not fully, you know, like educated on like other topics like transphobia and homophobia, but that we are open to that conversation. And so that's kind of something that was translated really well into doing work for the PCOS Association. I have PCOS, so it's a really important initiative to me, and being able to kind of like hear other people's stories, and also for MPHA. So MPHA is the Maryland Pharmacists Association. And once again, going back to networking, I did an internship with them back in 2020. And here's the main, like I think, delusion that people have with networking. I haven't talked to them in 5 years. Why would they want to hear from me? That's what happened with my supervisor, but my career coach was like, go there, you never know, just ask. And I did, and now I'm program manager of one of the big grants that's going to go like statewide. So you won't ever know where you'll get to unless you take that risk. And if there's not anything else you get from this panel today, is that networking is your biggest asset. All right, and then obviously with adaptability and problem solving. So I think that's like a no-brainer, honestly. Kind of like trying to help come up with solutions for people that come up to me. So for example, for people that can't use contacts for like health reasons, it's like, hey, you can edit. Or like for people that can't afford to like learn how to sew and whatnot, there are resale sites, especially with tariffs and whatnot. And then lastly, which is something that is like, that kind of like happened recently to me, is coaching and mentorship. So ever since starting this career journey, not even this career journey, but like doing content creation, my two friends, Kat and Uzi, they recently started their cosplay journey after being inspired by what I've been doing and using it as a creative outlet. And so I've kind of taken them under my wing to kind of develop those skills, and they asked me directly for advice and such. So the other screenshots, these are all messages to me after I gave my my public speaking talk at the Happy Farm Day webinar. And there were about 100 pharmacists, some of them that have been practicing for 10 years that just want to get like a remote job and whatnot. And it's kind of blew my mind, because for the longest time I thought like, I can't be a coach, they have more experience than me. And then which doesn't mean shit, because if you know about a certain industry more than the next person, then they'll like go to you for like advice and inspiration. Okay, so here are some conclusions and key takeaways. All right, so what's next? So no matter the career path, your skills as a content creator are valuable. I feel like, once again, if you were to ask me last year if I would tell like my pharmacy professionals or like anyone, like I know someone that works at pharma companies and know that I cosplay and do streaming on the side. And actually, I posted my Totoro cosplay on LinkedIn, and someone actually connected with me on LinkedIn because they also play Final Fantasy 14, and it turns out they're a graphic designer at a big pharma company. And they're like, hey, let's talk. And it's things like that where it's like, don't diminish what you love just for the sake of pursuing a job or a career path. I think, honestly, being myself the past few months have been a lot more, it made me happier, honestly, and I kind of want that to resonate with other people as well. Next is like a best practice is to start a portfolio and or media kit of your work. So like, I would say if you do content creation, so like cosplay, streaming and whatnot, start with that, and then you can kind of translate that into something for your professional work. And then depending on your pathway, now I got this in my survey. It was a really long, lengthy paragraph that I got from one of my mutuals saying like, hey, I work in legal and I don't feel comfortable saying blatantly, oh, I draw like 18 plus art for Final Fantasy 14, and it's, or like I've hosted a cosplay. So it's kind of like, for example, translating that to something that is more understandable by like hiring managers and things like that. So like I ran a big cosplay meetup of about 500 people. I coordinated a meetup of 500 people and organized, and that's like sort of the same, the idea that I want to like bring back to you guys. And so again, my little pitch, using my services and whatnot, I do career growth consultations, I do portfolio reviews, I do LinkedIn profile reviews, since I do like medical writing on the side and such, so big writer here, I do cover letter reviews and resume edits. And thank you for coming to my panel. And if you guys want to follow me, I'm active on Instagram, TikTok, X. I'm also on Blue Sky as well. All of my socials are on there, and LinkedIn as well. So if you guys want to get in touch with me and have some serious questions for me, feel free to contact me there.
Also, this whole panel is streaming on Twitch.
Yeah. All right. We have about 3 minutes left in this room, so if anyone has any last minute questions, otherwise, we do have a Marvel Rivals panel tonight at 7:30 with my friend Beanie Bear right here, and we'll be doing a Rate That Character panel that will be less professional, more unhinged, more fun. That's why we're here at the con, but I also got in for this one because I thought they wouldn't pitch this one, but they had me for both cons, so for both panels, so that's why we're here. I hope you guys learned something. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna end the stream.
Any questions from Twitch?
No.
All good.
All good.
All right. Thanks, guys.